Does size matter? Definitely not with Pluto. Pluto reveals the bitter truth, destroys illusions, and gives you the opportunity to be reborn. Pluto makes you confront the demons that need transformation. So, although Pluto may be regarded as a dwarf planet, it is one of the most powerful planets in astrology. Now, this video is all about Pluto moving into the sign of Aquarius and how it will impact you individually. After my short introduction on this transit, I will reveal your charts and how this 20-year cycle is going to be impacting you. So you can check out the timestamps down below in the description box. So on March the 23rd of 2023, Pluto will be moving into the sign of Aquarius. Now, this won't be the start of this long transit because due to retrograde, Pluto will move back into Capricorn. So we will only get a little teaser, a little sneak peek of what's to come. Now, Pluto has been in the sign of Capricorn since 2008. And when Pluto moves into the sign of Aquarius, this is going to be a massive shift of energy. It's going to be a new era and a new karmic cycle. So if we just think about Pluto in Capricorn since 2008, the sign Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So the focus has been all about this dark matrix, the dark institutions that control the world, the powers that be, that will no longer be able to sustain. Now, this includes the hierarchies, governments, people in power with lots of money, finances, businesses, just the very structure of life, the dark structures. So that's been the focus of Pluto in Capricorn, and there's been a lot of crisis and trauma around these areas. So when Pluto moves into Aquarius, we will have the opportunity to rebuild, to recreate, to heal all that Pluto in Capricorn has revealed to us. Now remember, Pluto equals power and control. So this can be something or someone taking control or taking power over you. And collectively, this has been the dark powers that be, controlling and taking all the power. But this can also mean individually when it's transiting in your chart. This could be you wanting power and control, but ultimately, Pluto in its highest manifestation reveals to you your true power and gives you the ability to take charge of your own life, as well as surrendering to the universe. So let's take a look at Pluto in Aquarius just briefly. Pluto is an extremely slow-moving planet. It's a generational planet. Therefore, when it moves into another sign, it's gonna bring a new cycle for humanity. Now, I've done a few videos on Pluto entering Aquarius. I've spoken about the dark side and the higher manifestation. I'll link those down below. But this is just a very brief surface level overview because there's just so many layers with Pluto. I'd be here all day. But in short, Aquarius rules over the collective. It rules over humanity, freedom, technology, the internet. Also, spiritually, it rules over, you would think of the ETs or the galactics, and not necessarily higher dimensional beings, just other dimensional beings. This could include negative beings. So when Pluto moves into Aquarius, it gives us the opportunity to rebuild, to recreate a new Earth based on freedom. This is a positive manifestation of Pluto in Aquarius. So all the crisis that we had to go through with Capricorn, with a Pluto and Capricorn transit, now we have the opportunity to create something new. We're going through this phoenix that rises from its ashes cycle. However, it's not as linear as it sounds. We're not going to enter Pluto in Aquarius and things are just magically going to be fixed. No, it's going to be quite a journey, a long journey, because Pluto is going to be in the sign of Aquarius for about 20 years. So this is an extremely long cycle. There's going to be ups and downs, there's going to be destruction and creation, and everything will be happening simultaneously. Now, there is also a darker side of Pluto in Aquarius because Pluto reveals the darkness, the secrets, the shadows, what needs healing. So, although we have this opportunity to rebuild a new earth based on freedom, the negative manifestation is the rise in dark AI and technology. Now, I've done a video on this where I go deep into the different parts of dark AI. I will link it down below. But now let's get on to how is Pluto going to impact you when it moves into the sign of Aquarius. Now, this is based on your rising sign, and this is based on the whole sign house system. So just bear that in mind. It might vary if you work with a Placidus house system. And if you do want to learn more about how Pluto will impact you, check out my website, realquotes.com, for one-to-one sessions. So let's get into the first sign, Aries. Aries rising. Pluto has been in your 10th house of career since 2008. So there's been a huge focus, transformation when it comes to your career. Now, our career becomes our life mission because what we do for a living, our goals, our ambitions, what we're striving to achieve, it takes all our energy, time, and effort. And Pluto has made you really rethink, reevaluate, recreate your goals and ambitions regarding your career. So now, when Pluto moves into the sign of Aquarius, it's going to move into your 11th house. The focus is moving away from your career because by now you should have a better understanding of who you are, what you want, and where you're headed. But when Pluto moves into the sign of Aquarius in your 11th house, it's ruling over your friendships, your community, your social groups, and your hopes and visions for the future. So during this long cycle, there is going to be an emphasis on other people, especially friendships, as well as what you want for humanity, because Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian. It's all about the collective. It's all about creating for the world, being of service. It's a starseed energy. So when Pluto moves into the sign of Aquarius in your 11th house, you're going to want deep friendships that feel like soul family. The surface level friendships, the superficial friendships won't make the cut in your life anymore. You're going to want something much more deeper. So if there's friends that you've known forever, don't be surprised if you have to let go of people because they're not in alignment with you, because they're not in alignment with the path you're on. Pluto will bring up all the shadows. It will shed light on your unconscious as well, what you truly want. So watch out for that because there's going to be tension or intensity around friendships during this transit for you. And Pluto wants you to really take a look at the people that are in your life. Are they in alignment with you? Are there soul bonds? Are there true friendships, soul family connections? Because if they're not, why are they in your life? During this time, you're going to be very deep and intense, and you're going to want soul family, friendships that mean something, that are deep, purposeful, that are in alignment with your values and your beliefs and where you're headed in life. Now, there also may be people who have a lot of power or influence or even controlling that may enter your life, and you may be even, magnetically pulled towards them or fascinated. But be careful. You may also want to join groups and societies during this time that have to do with perhaps the occult or just humanitarian groups and communities, because you want to be involved with something that is deeper, that has a purpose, and that aligns with your hopes and visions for the future. Also, like your beliefs, your values, your political ideologies may shift, go through a complete transformation during this time. How you see, how you view the collective, humanity, and how you want New Earth to manifest may also go through a complete transformation. So, Aries rising, watch out for friendships because they are going to be transformed during this time. And by the end of this cycle, you will be left with who is truly in alignment with you. Now remember, quality over quantity. And another shadow aspect with this, before I go on to the next sign, is that you may also be very intense during this time with the people around you, such as your friends. So they may even think that you are coming across as very controlling or too intense, and they may not be able to handle it. They may not be able to handle your intensity. So be very self-aware, but then also be aware of the people around you. Keep your third eye open. Taurus rising. Let's take a look at how Pluto will impact you when it moves into the sign of Aquarius. So Pluto has been in your 9th house of travel, higher learning, education, studying, spirituality, spiritual beliefs, and philosophy. So all of that has been going through a complete transformation. You've definitely been developing on your spirituality, aligning with your true beliefs, values, and philosophies. And you know what you believe in, and you're passionate about it, and you feel more connected with perhaps just a deeper sense of purpose during this time. But when Pluto moves into Aquarius, it's going to enter your 10th house. So the 10th house rules over career. Now that you have spent the last several years really redefining what you believe in and working on yourself and perhaps your spirituality and learning about, the occult, the secrets of the world, on mysticism, perhaps even astrology, any form of spirituality that is very Plutonian. Now you want to, with this transit, with Pluto moving into Aquarius in your 10th house, you're going to want to have a deeper sense of purpose through your career. So Pluto is going to make you redefine your career. You're going to want something more meaningful and deeper, because the career people choose, it becomes their life path, their soul mission, because you give time, effort, and energy to it all the time. You live and breathe it, right? So there may be a lot of reevaluating. There also may be a cycle of being the phoenix that rises from its ashes. Like you may go through like a crisis, but ultimately Pluto is pushing you to realign with your true soul's mission so that you fulfill your purpose, so that you fulfill your greater destiny. And during this time, you may want to transform your career. If you're not in alignment with your soul's mission and purpose, you may want to completely transform, and you're going to be passionate about humanity during this time. You're going to be passionate about doing something for the people, for the collective, for society, for the world, for others. And it's going to be very personal to you. So Pluto in Aquarius in your 10th house. This is a major transit. It's going to be transforming your career, and Pluto may test you. It may put you through trials and tribulations to really see if you are devoted to your soul purpose and mission, if you're really passionate about it. And if you are, you will get through whatever Pluto throws at you. But by the end of this cycle, you will be in alignment with your soul's mission, your soul's purpose. You will be helping others. You will be leading the new earth as well, especially if you're a star seed and you already feel like you're here to do something greater for the world. So this is a huge transit for you. Gemini rising. So Pluto has been in your 8th house of intimacy, shared resources, the occult, transformation. It's been at home, the unconscious. So you have been going through a complete shift. You've been having the ultimate Pluto experience when it comes to your psyche, your unconscious, your spirituality, when it comes to relationships and intimacy, when it comes to the deeper aspects of life, death. It's almost like you've been reborn. It's like, since Pluto has been in Capricorn in the last, in several years, since 2008, it's like you've gone through so many lifetimes within that span. And you're feeling reborn now. You feel like you've gone through so much life experience, like you've had enough life experience for just one life. But now Pluto is moving out of your 8th house and moving into your 9th house of travel, higher learning, education, studying, your spiritual philosophies and beliefs. So now with all that life experience that you have gained, that has really pushed you into becoming the most powerful version of yourself, you'll be able to enjoy studying, enjoy learning about spirituality. It could be astrology, it could be mysticism. You may even want to transform your life, and perhaps you want to get into higher education. Perhaps you want to travel. You're craving, you want to travel and really connect with the earth. Your spiritual beliefs and philosophies are going through a complete transformation. Now, with Pluto in the 9th house, traveling doesn't always have to be physically. Although the 9th house rules over long distance journeys, foreign places, with Pluto, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Sometimes, Pluto in the 9th house, you could be traveling, you could be astral traveling, You don't have to physically go somewhere. You're probably having a lot of out-of-body experiences. But you're going to want to learn new things. You're going to want to have new experiences. You're going to want to feel free when it comes to your philosophies and beliefs. If you grew up in a certain religion or culture, you're going to want to break free during this time. Pluto is going to completely shift your spiritual journey, path, beliefs, philosophies. And by the end of this transit, you're going to feel like a new person. You will learn so much, because this is all about learning as well. I know Pluto has been in your 8th house and you feel like you've learned enough for one lifetime. But this is a next step in your spiritual development, your spiritual evolution, your spiritual journey. Pluto will reveal to you the hidden mysteries of spirituality, of foreign places, even education. You may want to be in education during this time. You're going to be so passionate, and you're going to be great at it, because Pluto, it's all or nothing. It's great at dissecting They're being passionate. It doesn't miss the details. So you are going to be going through the phoenix that rises from its ashes cycle in your 9th house of travel, higher learning, and spiritual beliefs and philosophies. Cancer rising. Pluto has been in your 7th house of relationships, marriage, business partnerships, just your one-to-one interactions, the house of other people. So there may have been endings, a lot of people that you had to let go of. There may have been an ending in a marriage. There may have been karmic relationships during this time. There may have been some powerful people that entered your life, that came into your life to teach you soul lessons. Now, since 2008, this may have been a very karmic time regarding other people. You may have learned quite a lot about perhaps betrayal, power and control, abusive relationships, or narcissistic relationships. You may have also learned what you truly want in relationships, what you need. And now Pluto will move into your 8th house. When Pluto moves into the sign of Aquarius, it will enter your 8th house of intimacy, shared resources, of the hidden aspects of life, the hidden aspect of your psyche, your unconscious. This is a house of transformation. So where the 7th house teaches us about commitments and relationships, the 8th house teaches us the next step of what it means to be in relationships. That could mean intimacy, sex. That could mean shared, joint finances or resources. That could also mean diving deep into the unknown together. So Pluto will now be teaching you further. And Pluto is at home in the 8th house. So with this transit, it could aspect so many areas of your life. It could feel like you're going through so many lifetimes in one go. I mean, by the end of this cycle, you're going to feel like you've lived out several lifetimes in the span of 20 years. Like you're going to be going through the ultimate life experience. Now, this could definitely impact shared resources and finances. It could bring forth a crisis that needs transformation. It could affect also intimacy. Perhaps during this time, you're going to want to be intimate just on a whole new level, on a deeper level than ever before. Perhaps you're going to want more sexual freedom. You may also want to learn more about the occult, the mysteries of the world, the secrets, your psyche, the subconscious, the unconscious. You're going to be all or nothing during this time. You will be going through the ultimate transformation, and transformation is not easy because life has to push us. We have to be pushed in order to go through the phoenix that rises from its ashes. It's not an easy journey, but it's necessary. And your higher self during this time, it wants you to experience certain things to help you evolve and grow and be the best version of yourself. It wants to reveal truth to you. And truth is not always cute. It's not always pretty. Sometimes it can be a little bitter. But you will be going through the ultimate life transformation with Pluto in the 8th house. Leo rising. Pluto has been in your 6th house of daily work and routine, as well as health and wellness. And now Pluto will move into your 7th house of relationships. So this is huge for you. Pluto in Aquarius in your house of relationships, partnerships, commitments, marriage. This is huge. So this area of your life is going to be profoundly impacted. Now, Pluto often can bring endings for new beginnings. So it depends on your chart, but there can be an end in relationships, an end in a marriage, business partnerships. There can be a lot of people that you have to actually let go of during this time. It's about releasing. Now, the more you hold on, the more this transit gets more intense. So, the best way to handle if you have to let people go is just surrender and know that it is in your best interest to let these people go, because Pluto will bring forward all the shadows, all that is hidden, all that you are perhaps not focusing on is going to come right up to the surface. And you may even want more freedom in relationships during this time. You may even want to be in a new relationship. You may crave a soul bond, which is full of just emotions and love, but also has a strong element of friendship as well. And this would be due to the energy of Aquarius. So you may crave new people in your life. You may crave a relationship, a marriage, a union, just other people. You want to be around people during this time, but it can make you feel lonely. Now, this is not to put you off this transit, because this is what your higher self has decided for you. This is what your higher self wants you to experience to help you grow and evolve in your own individual, unique journey. So, this can be, depending again on your chart, this can be a very intense time when it comes to relationships. But ultimately, it's because it's for your highest good. Now, watch out for anybody coming into your life that is very Plutonian, is very like powerful or very mysterious. You may feel magnetically pulled or drawn to them, but be very careful, because this is a time where there may be a possibility of someone coming into your life and you may feel very fascinated or intrigued by them. There may be somebody just so different and unique. Perhaps you've never experienced that energy before and you become very alert by it. But often this transit can bring people who are not good for you, who have a lot of power, but that power can be very destructive towards you and others. So be very cautious of other people coming into your life. I know you may crave it during this time, but it's very important to keep your third eye open. Also, be very careful with conflicts, because the seventh house also rules over that area of life. Do not get into any conflicts with other people. Not a good time. Not a good time, because your opponent or the other person may have some very dark, twisted tricks up their sleeves that they will use against you. So be very careful. Learn how to forgive during this time. Learn how to let things go. Don't hold on to anything. This will be testing your relationships. But remember, the seventh house is not just the house of other people. It's a mirror house, meaning through other people, you learn about yourself. You can even learn about your own psyche, your own subconscious and unconscious. So, relationships are huge. Virgo rising. Pluto will be moving from your fifth house of creativity, joy, pleasure, romance, dating, the inner child and children, into Aquarius in your sixth house of daily work, daily routines, health and wellness, and also being of service to others. So the sixth house is very important in your life, because as a Virgo rising, the sixth house is like the embodiment of you, your soul, your personality, your energy. You are a workaholic. You love being of service to others. You may have very unique rituals for yourself, healing remedies for yourself. You may be a healer. And this area of your life is so important. So this is going to really emphasize on your gifts and your abilities. You may, during this time, get so bored of your daily routine. Now, although you're very structured and you like routine, but with Pluto here, you may want to do something completely different. because this is your 6th house of daily routines in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius needs freedom. It needs change. And with Pluto here, you're going to need a spiritual change. You're going to need an intense change. You may go through a transformation with your work. You may want to get into healing. You may want to get into some type of spiritual healing, quantum healing, something that is so unique and different and out of the box. You may want to be of service to other people through your gifts and abilities. You may be very passionate about the holistic side of life, of natural healing, of herbs and remedies, being your own self-healer. Life is going to get more intense and intense because you're going to want to do things that are more meaningful and full of purpose. You're going to reflect and reevaluate your everyday life, your work. Now, there can also be tension here with co-workers, the people you work with, so be cautious of that. You may also navigate through life more intensely, and that's because you need a shift, you need a change. Your higher self during this time wants you to really work and develop on your natural healing gifts and abilities and be of service to people. So this is a great time for you to learn something new that has to do with health and wellness, because you're going to be great at it. Passionate, focused, and it's going to bring the best out of you. Libra rising. So Pluto is now moving from your 4th house of home, family, safety, your roots, your ancestors, family karma, and moving into your 5th house. Your 5th house of creativity, self-expression, joy, happiness, romance, dating, the inner child, children. So Pluto in the 4th house, it may have been extremely intense for you, a very karmic cycle and time. But now Pluto is kind of giving you a break. And now you get to focus on what makes you happy. Now, the normal things that you used to do that used to make you feel happy won't make the cut. During this time, you need more excitement, innovation. You need a change. You may take pleasure in the occult side of things and learning about spirituality, your spiritual practices. You may need a creative outlet for expressing your subconscious. You may just transform your creativity. It may get even more meaningful and purposeful. It may become even more darker and intense. And when it comes to romance and dating and relationships, you're going to be craving something more intense as well. You may be attracted to those that have a lot of Scorpio energy in their chart, or very Plutonian, very mysterious, have a little edge to them. But be very careful, because although you want to have a good time, you want to have fun, you want to experience something that you've never experienced before, and you may use relationships and dating as an outlet, but be very careful of those people that you meet during this cycle, because it may not be what it seems to be. It may not be for the long term. And that's okay. Not everything is meant to be for the long term. Some experiences can be just very karmic, and they're here to teach us soul lessons, and you have to embrace that. But just be cautious of anyone that you're not sure about, that doesn't give you like genuine vibes, you know? If you feel in your intuition that you should stay away from someone, listen to your intuition. Because you can be very magnetic during this time, and you can attract, very dark Plutonian energies towards you. But the thing is, you may enjoy that. You may be all about that. So just be very mindful of who you interact with, who you share your energy with during this time. Now, also, your relationship with your children might be very intense during this time, and it will serve a deeper purpose. It'll be very meaningful through that intensity. There'll be a lot of lessons to learn. You are transforming when it comes to your creativity, your self-expression, what you find joy in, and also romance and dating. You may be even more intenser. You may be attracted to the Plutonian type. Your relationship with your children during this time can get very intense. There's much to learn with Pluto in your 5th house. Scorpio rising. Pluto will be in your 4th house of home, family, roots, ancestors, karma, the past, safety. So this is going to be a very karmic time when it comes to family. It depends on your chart. It depends on what other planets are in your 4th house. But those deep buried emotions from the past will come up to the surface. The karma will come right up to the surface, and you may have to confront some demons. You may have to, get into spiritual exorcist mode. During this time, there can be crisis, loss, trauma when it comes to family. There can be an intensity with family members or at home. There can be a letting go of the past. Like, this is a very intense time for you. This is what your highest self has chosen for you, for your growth, for your evolution, to confront these karmic ties from the past, to learn about your ancestral karma, what emotions are passing on from generation to generation, what codes do you need to cut, where are the ancestral generational curses. Like, Pluto is going to bring all those up to the surface. You may even have to confront family members that have very strong Scorpio energy and are very Plutonian, that have a lot of intensity to them. Maybe, you don't have a pleasant relationship with them. You may have to confront those situations, but you're going to want change. You're going to want to do things differently during this time, because Aquarius is all about change and also freedom. So you may want to break free from the karma that exists, because you're so psychically in tune with everything and with your family. You may have to revisit some past experiences that have been very painful. So this is going to be a long cycle of almost like healing the past, healing past lives that are replaying right now. And you have to get into your spiritual warrior mode to get through this cycle. You have to channel the phoenix that rises, because your higher self wants you to focus on this area of life so you can free your ancestors, so you can free yourself, so you can heal, so you can be the phoenix that rises from its ashes. Sagittarius rising. Pluto is moving from your 2nd house of money, finances, what you own, your security, your values, and it's moving into your 3rd house of siblings, neighborhood, travel, and communication. During this transit, you may be way more intense when it comes to how you communicate with others. You won't be able to handle just small talk, surface level conversations, superficial conversations. You won't be able to deal with that. You're going to want more meaningful, passionate conversations. Otherwise, you're just going to feel just frustrated. You want to have conversations that have meaning and depth and that are intense. Conversations that are not afraid of exploring the occult, the hidden, the mysteries, the secrets. Conversations that may be darker in nature. You're not afraid of confronting the demons during this time. And you want to be able to connect with others mentally. If you write a lot, if you're a writer, poet, or even if you work with songwriting or singing, that may also take a more Plutonian nature. You may want to talk about things that are deep, that make other people run the other direction. But no, you're just so passionate during this time. Your mind is so deep during this time. It's sensitive as well. You want to explore your psyche. You want to explore your mind and all the different layers and depths to it. And just like your everyday life as well, the things that you do, you're going to just have a much more intense approach to everything. Now, there can also be karma here with siblings. And if it comes up, you have to transform it. You have to alchemize it. Your higher self during this time, it wants to transform your mentality. It wants to transform how you connect with others as well. And it's going to push you and make you into the phoenix that rises from its ashes. Capricorn rising. So Pluto is moving from your first house of self, identity, your outlook on life direction, into your second house of money, finances, the things that you own, the things that make you feel secure and stable, your self-worth and value. Now, of course, this is a house that is very important to you as a Capricorn rising. And with Pluto entering into this area of life, you will be going through a transformation. Now, you're very structured, so change is not something you necessarily like. But with Pluto here, there can be loss and gain. Don't get too attached. I mean, during this time, you may be very possessive of what you own. You may be very attached to it. But the deeper lesson here is that Pluto wants to teach you how to let go and surrender, how to find value in things that you can't take with you. When you think about your money, all the things you own, all the material stuff in this matrix, when we cross over to the other side, we can't pack luggage. We can't pack a bag and take all those things with us. No. The only thing that we can take is our soul, what we learned, the soul lessons, the memories. That's all we can take. And that's what Pluto wants you to focus on. Pluto wants you to transform yourself when it comes to what you value and where you put your self-worth. And the more you resist, the more Pluto will persist. So, second house of money, finances, what you own, and your self-worth and value are going to be going through it because Pluto, your highest self, wants you to learn how to value things that you can't put a price on, how to value things that are not physical. Super important for you with this transit. Pluto in Aquarius. For Aquarius and Aquarius risings. So Pluto will be moving into your first house of self-identity, your outlook on life, your life direction. Now Pluto is moving out of your 12th house. So it seems like you've been doing a lot of healing the past, a lot of healing yourself as well. You may have been in a cycle since 2008 of really reflecting on yourself, maybe feeling very isolated and just detached from the world, questioning absolutely everything, healing a lot of karma. It may have been a very rough time, especially on your psyche. But now with Pluto moving into your first house, Pluto wants you to take action. Everything that you've learned since 2008, with Pluto being in your 12th house, Pluto now wants you to make those changes. It wants you to completely transform your life direction. It wants you to break free, be the maverick, to walk your talk. And this may transform a lot in your life, almost every aspect of your life. It depends, of course, on your chart and how is your first house aspected and all the other elements in your chart, but your whole life will be going through it. You will become the phoenix that rises from its ashes. And this may also affect relationships. You may have to let go of a lot of people, and that's because Pluto brings forth endings for new beginnings. So there's a lot of shedding, a lot of letting go, a lot of releasing. With Pluto in your 12th house, there was a lot of revisiting, reevaluating, a lot of reflecting on the past, but now it's all about taking action in the now, in your current life and moving forward. You're going to feel a physical change as well in your body and your energy levels. You're going to approach life more intensely. You're going to approach everything with purpose and meaning. Your mentality is just going to be completely shifted and under transformation. You may be more Plutonian during this time, and people may not be able to handle your intensity. And those people that can't handle your intensity, they'll have to find the exit point out of your life, because your higher self is aligning you to your true purpose. And anything that is not in alignment will have to go, will be released. And by the end of this transit, you will feel like a completely different person. You'll feel like you have been reborn. And you will, especially if you're a star seed, you'll be playing a huge role for the new earth and the ascension. So Pluto in Aquarius for you is huge. Pisces rising. Pluto will be in your 12th house. So since 2008, Pluto has been in your 11th house of friendships, groups, communities, hopes, and visions for the future. So there may have been a lot of people that you had to let go of, a lot of endings in friendships, a lot of reflecting, reevaluating, redefining your hopes and visions for the future. Now is going to be a time where you'll be focusing more on your internal process. And this for you has a lot to do with past lives. A lot of past life karma coming to the forefront. And you may feel a little isolated and alone. You know, your psyche can really be impacted, but you have to kind of be like your own therapist. You have to be like your own self-healer. You have to channel the healer within you and confront every demon that comes up in your mind, in your psyche. Confront every memory from the past that was painful. You have to confront it and be like a spiritual exorcist. You have to channel the spiritual warrior within you, the spiritual exorcist. Because your higher self during this time, it wants you to transform your life. And in order to transform your life, you have to revisit the past. And it's going to come up in your psyche, in your subconscious. Your dreams will be very powerful during this time. If you have a lot of visions, they're going to be very powerful too. There's going to be synchronicities everywhere, signs everywhere of what you need to let go of, what you need to release. And, you know, I can't sugarcoat it. It can feel like a very challenging cycle. But you have to remind yourself that before you incarnated on Earth, your higher self, which is you made a contract of all the different life cycles you're going to go through. You chose when you were going to be born so you could have this divine map. And you decided to go through a cycle where you would reflect and heal the past so that you can move forward, so you can release the karma so that it won't follow you on. And this is it with Pluto in the 12th house. And also be mindful of other people. Listen to your intuition. If you feel like there's someone in your life that doesn't have good intentions for you, or even someone new, really pay attention to what your intuition is telling you. Because the 12th house also rules over hidden enemies, but they're not always hidden. Sometimes they can just be in your circle and you just don't know it. So this can be a time where you let a lot of people go. But instead of fighting with people or, being in a conflict, just let it go. This is not a good time for conflicts. Although conflicts may arise, they may be inevitable, but this is not a good time to go head to head with somebody. Just let go and release. It's all about healing the past with Pluto. So Pluto in Aquarius. I hope you enjoyed your predictions for this transit. If you can hear my cat, can you hear my little cat? Yeah, I don't know what he's saying in cat language. But like I said, I hope you enjoyed your predictions. And remember that your chart is unique. So these predictions won't apply to everyone. These are based on the whole sign's house system. So they may vary if you work with other house systems. And if you do want to learn more, check out my website, riocourts.com. And remember that Pluto always works in your favor at the end. It always realigns you and it reminds you of your power because it makes you channel your power. It makes you go through the underworld. So Pluto in Aquarius. Make sure you like this video, comment down below, and subscribe. And I'll see you in another video. Lots of love.